Peace and love, everyone, and welcome to Hip Hop Pot Docs. Today, we have a compelling story that sheds light on the transformative power of cannabis and the impact of the outdated drug laws on individuals. We'll be delving into the life of Richard DeLisi, a man whose journey has become a symbol of the ongoing debate surrounding cannabis legalization. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Now let's get started.
A Polk County man serving life for a non-violent marijuana offense will soon be set free. Richard DeLisi's sentence is one of the longest ever handed down for a non-violent crime involving marijuana.
In 1989, Richard DeLisi was convicted on cannabis-related charges and sentenced to a staggering 90 years in prison. At the time, the legal landscape regarding cannabis was vastly different, and DeLisi's case became a focal point for advocates pushing for reform.
In 1989, Ted DeLisi and his brother Richard were sentenced to 90 years. Both were convicted of nonviolent drug trafficking charges. They had planned to fly a plane loaded with marijuana into Polk County. In 2013, Ted DeLisi was released, but Richard still remains behind bars. A day after our story on the case aired earlier this month, the Florida Department of Corrections approved Richard's request for release.
Cannabis laws have evolved significantly in recent years, with many states legalizing its medical and recreational use. However, DeLisi's case highlights the stark contrast between past and present drug policies.
DeLisi's release comes at a time when more and more municipalities are decriminalizing marijuana, and as more states like Florida have legalized the drug for medical use. In June, the Last Prisoners Project started working on DeLisi's case. The organization is made up of cannabis industry leaders and criminal justice advocates who are focused on freeing prisoners serving lengthy sentences for marijuana offenses.
Born in 1949, Richard DeLisi grew up in a different era. In the late 60s and early 70s, he became involved in the cannabis trade, ultimately leading to his arrest in 1989. His story is not just about legal battles, it's about a life shaped by the changing tides of public opinion on cannabis.
Hello, my name is Richard DeLisi, and I am the longest-serving nonviolent cannabis offender in the United States history.
Juster says DeLisi has underlying health issues that have his family especially concerned. In June, 175 inmates at South Bay Correctional Facility in Palm Beach County, where DeLisi is incarcerated, tested positive for COVID-19. One inmate died. DeLisi's attorneys say his application for clemency is moving forward. Since joining on, the Last Prisoners Project has supplemented his application with letters of support from loved ones, prison employees, and others they hope can help get him out.
For over 3 decades, DeLisi experienced the harsh realities of prison life. His story gained traction as advocates and legal experts questioned the disappropriate sentencing for non-violent cannabis offenses.
He has been ripped apart from his family for the last 32 years. And society, Palm Beach County, we are no safer because of that.
More than 30 years behind bars, and after months and months of work by the organization The Last Prisoners Project, 71-year-old Richard DeLisi will soon be back home with his family in early December, and his brother Ted says he's more than ready to catch up on lost time.
I can't wait. I haven't seen him in 28 years.
Two brothers apart for decades will soon be back together.
And I'm so happy that he's coming home. Oh my God, I can't tell you how happy I am. I'm going to be there when he walks out that door. He's going to get the biggest hug, let me tell you.
Throughout his incarceration, DeLisi became a symbol for cannabis reform, with organizations like the Last Prisoner Project advocating for his release. Legal experts argued that his sentence was excessive and didn't align with the evolving views on cannabis.
It was a rough time, I'll tell you that. It was a rough ride.
A ride he was ready to get off of, and he finally did thanks to the Last Prisoner Project.
It was absolutely time to do everything in our power towards his release.
The group works with attorneys to get nonviolent criminals with cannabis charges released from jail and from prison.
I feel really strongly that anybody who has been incarcerated or is currently incarcerated, that they're actually victims of unjust laws.
In December 2020, after serving 31 years, Richard DeLisi was released from prison. His story took a dramatic turn as he reunited with his family and embraced a world that had changed significantly during his time behind bars. What makes DeLisi's story so compelling is not just the legal aspect, but how cannabis played a role in transforming his life. Reports suggest that he found solace and purpose in the plant, leading him to become an advocate for its responsible use.
An emotional homecoming for a man who spent more than 3 decades in prison for selling marijuana. DeLisi is 71 years old now. In 1989, he was sentenced to 90 years behind bars for drug trafficking. He has been locked up in Palm Beach County ever since, but his prison term was recently shortened. Now he's a free man.
My family right here.
After decades behind bars, Richard DeLisi finally gets to hold his family.
It's really an amazing feeling, but I knew it was a long time coming.
In the late 80s, Richard was put away for selling marijuana. He had agreed to smuggle over 100 pounds of it from Colombia to Florida. And he didn't just get a slap on the wrist. Richard was handed a 90-year sentence. He was never a convicted violent criminal.
DeLisi is believed to be the longest-serving inmate for a non-violent marijuana crime.
I feel quite wonderful. I have to thank God. I have to thank my family and friends for riding for these 32 years with me. I have to thank redefining.com and also the Last Prisoners Project, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now.
As we wrap up this journey into the life of Richard DeLisi, it's clear that his story is a microcosm of a larger debate surrounding cannabis legalization. Whether you support or oppose cannabis, understanding the impact of outdated drug laws on individuals like DeLisi is crucial. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Thank you for joining us on Hip Hop Pot Docs. And until next time, stay informed and stay curious.